All right. Good morning, guys. How's everyone doing? Hopefully, everyone's having a good morning. It's looking like, it's looking like there's some decent opportunity this morning. It's been pretty slow in the last few days. I don't know if you guys have realized, but the price action has been pretty choppy. Even post FOMC yesterday, or post minutes, it was decent upside, like maybe 10, 20 minutes after. But it was still not that quick. And I'll sort of show you guys what I've been looking at. It's not been that explosive one direction move that maybe some of us would like to be able to trade. So it's been a little bit difficult, hard to find opportunity. Really got to stay structured on the risk management. I think that's the biggest thing right now, is making sure that you're coming in with proper risk management, making sure you're not getting too greedy, because these moves they're not like an all-day move right now. So it's going to be a little bit difficult. Looks like a lot of short-term opportunity. We'll see if that changes today. There is definitely some interesting levels that we're holding today. Interesting level we held yesterday that we talked about in the live stream, and on Tuesday, and then today, on Thursday, it's looking like we're holding another important level. So some interesting levels to watch here on the Nasdaq and the ES, and some things that we have to sort of understand what's going on and get an idea for the market. So let's do that. We'll get some individual names, get a feel for the market, get a feel for what levels to watch out for, and get an idea of, do we think that this short-term upside can continue, or do we think that this is going to fail once again? I'll try to do my best to give you what I'm thinking so you can sort of build an opinion of your own, right? I'm not here to tell you what I think is going to happen or what is going to happen, because I do not know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. But we can get clues and do analysis based on what we're looking at. So that's why we're here. That's what we're going to do. Futures today, as always, I think futures are very important, especially today. There's some pretty key levels that we need to watch, that need to hold. You have to hold some of these levels if you want to see short-term momentum stay in. If we lose some of the levels that we'll talk about today, you're going to see the short-term momentum that we've had over the last few days start to break and start to lose again. So some very important levels to watch today on the futures, both the ES and the Nasdaq, that we need to review. Tesla, watching a resistance point today. Want to share with you guys some of the Tesla charts that I've looked at. Nvidia back to approaching its 155 demand zone. So this is important. Let's watch this level on Nvidia. Costco over 490 yesterday. I know you guys know I've been watching Costco like a hawk. I'm sure you saw Costco break over 490 yesterday. Congrats to anyone that caught that. Google towards 2400. I think Google is one of the strongest names right now. I think it is the strongest name right now. It's been very much outperforming, and it's got some free air up to 2400. So if we get a strong Nasdaq today, I'm definitely liking Google for more upside. Apple holding 142. This is a major hold for Apple, and this is helping the market start to find some upside. If Apple can stay strong, if Apple can hold previous resistance into support, if Apple can start to build to the upside, that's going to help the Nasdaq. So definitely keeping an eye on Apple as a breath to the market. Amazon into a major level today, 116, really big level on Amazon, must watch. And then XLE continues to be pretty weak. This is what's dragging the S&P 500 down. As you guys can probably have seen over the last few days, the Nasdaq is outperforming the S&P. And the reason for this is because the energy sector has been very weak. So does that change? We'll have to see. And then UNH and healthcare had some nice upside yesterday. So let's keep an eye on this healthcare sector. I'm liking some of the strength I'm seeing on the healthcare names. So we'll look at those as well. After that, we'll look at the tickers that you guys want to look at in the Google Docs, and we'll wrap up the stream. So today, let's go. I don't think we have, really all we have on the economic side of things is jobless claims. We'll see how that comes in. That's just normal Thursday stuff. So here's jobless claims, right? Normal Thursday stuff here. So you guys can see jobless claims at 8:30, right? Foreign trade balance. You got James Bullard speaking. And then Friday, normal stuff as well. Non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, average hourly earnings. So let's see how the market reacts at 8:30. We'll pop into the Nasdaq at that time to see if there's any reaction to that. Yeah, I saw the one thing I wanted to go over. I saw the Samsung earnings. There was Samsung earnings today, or was it last night? One of the two. And they were positive. And it looks like it's helping the chip name slightly this morning. So that is another thing that we want to watch out for. Samsung beating earnings. Looks like it's giving some sympathy to some of the chip names. So let's watch out for that as well. That's the last thing I wanted to point out. All right. Futures. All right, guys. So what happened yesterday, right? Let's just break it down and talk about what happened. What did we witness yesterday on the futures? Here's the most important thing. Here's the most important things that happened. First of all, into yesterday, it was imperative that we held 11,750. We had to hold that level. If we didn't hold 11,750, you were going to move to the downside, right? And that is exactly what we did, right? So you had 11,750 here, 11,750 here, 11,750 here, and here, right? So a lot of 11,750 tests. Now, you guys know I'm the break and retest guy, right? That's me. And, you know, the reason I am the break and retest guy is because it works, right? It's something that you see on the market. It's a legitimate thing that happens, and you can trade off of it, right? It's not rocket science, but it shows up everywhere. This is a break and retest on the Nasdaq. The fact that we broke a resistance, we came back to it, and we held it as support, all right here. This is a sign of strength, and this is why the market moved higher, right? We were able to hold this level even post FOMC. We were able to continue to hold the previous supply into demand, and it proved to be a strong support level. And you can see the reaction off that level. This is a perfect break and retest. You even got a little bit of a flag here. And it was a really strong move. So, hold on, let me take that back. A really strong move. I can't say that to anything here. It was a good move. It was a good move off the break and retest, right? That is textbook break and retest. So you got the upside through it. Now, what is it doing now? It is doing, again, the same thing. We had a rejection point at 11,880. Previous rejection point, double top rejection point. It got through it, and it is now holding it as support. This is, once again, a break and retest on a shorter term time frame. So if we look at this chart, and we zoom in to the 15-minute, you guys can see we broke, we retested, we held. This was crucial yesterday. You had to see this happen. If you saw this, right? If you saw this, and then you saw this, no good, right? That's it. You lose it. It's like a loss in momentum. You crack through the glass. That move is dead. But the fact that we held it is promising, right? The fact that we moved up, held it as support, turned a previous rejection point into support, that is positive. Now, what is it doing right now, right? Look, rejection, rejection, rejection. It's holding it as support for now. So these are the things, these are the context clues, these are the analysis things that you have to know as a trader to get a good idea of what you think could happen, right? You have to understand these things, because now I know, I could say in my head, as long as we're above previous highs from yesterday, 11,880, right, in this general area, I can stay somewhat bullish here. As long as we hold demand here, I can stay somewhat bullish here. This is what I said to myself yesterday. If you're in the voice chat with me on Discord, I was saying to you guys all day, as long as we're above 11,750, I would remain bullish on the Nasdaq. I said this all morning. It really didn't give us much juice here in the morning. Like, we didn't really get a move, but you couldn't turn bullish, or you couldn't turn bearish, right? You have to understand your levels. If you're above this level, you just can't turn bearish, because you're not going to get that move unless you break the demand and start to slip. So you had to stay bullish yesterday because it continued to hold the demand level. Now today, it's the same thing. You know, Adam, if it happens, it happens. But you don't think that way until you start to see it happen, right, Adam? If I started to see, you know, if you started to see the Nasdaq break 11,750 yesterday, then you could say, okay, yeah, bull trap starting to come in, and I can start to play it back to the downside. But until it shows that, you don't think about what could happen, right? You think about what's on your charts and what is it showing you, right? So for me, as long as we're above 11,880. As long as we're above these previous rejection points, I cannot turn bearish in the short term. Right? Until I see this breakdown, until I see this level break, if I see it turn back into resistance, then I can turn bearish, right? But until I see that, I'm not going to try to predict that. And that is where you save yourself a lot of money. So today, very important, guys. We have to hold 11,880. If you lose 11,880 today, if you lose these previous highs, if you turn them in, if you can't hold that level, you are going to move back to the downside. You'll probably retest 11,750. If you lose this level here, you will likely move back down to 11,750 like this. If you lose this level, if you hold that level, then you're probably going to continue to start to see some upside. If you continue to hold this level, 11,880. You're probably going to see that 12,000 test. So if you see that 12,000 test, this is the 12,000 level here. You can see previous lows. I'm not bullish, guys. I'm not bullish or bearish. It's not even a word in my vocabulary. You look at the levels on the chart. If you're above 11,880, you have to continue to look for upside. You can't try to trade downside into demand. You just can't do it. Trading downside into a demand level is not a good trade. So wait for it to break, then you could react, right? Yesterday, you couldn't be bearish because it was above demand. You can't trade into demand. You can't trade downside into demand. You're going to get crushed. So if we get upside today, if we hold 11,880, look for it to reject 12,000 or look for it to break through 12,000. That's your level. 12,000. 12,000 right here. You guys can see right here. Previous double bottom. 12,000, 11,880. Which direction does it go? Do we get this and a rejection? Do we get this and a support? Do we get a break of 12,000, a retest and a continuation? Or do we get a break of 11,880, maybe a retest and a move towards 11,750, right? Those are your four, as you guys have seen me create this little spider of a technical analysis here. These are your four options, right? Push to the upside into 12 or reject it. Break through 12, turn it into support, continued upside. Come down to 11,880, hold it as support, and maybe try to have like a little continuation. Break 11,880, turn it into resistance, you're coming back to the downside. You don't need to think of anything besides watching what happens there at these levels. You will be able to decide what happens once you see a reaction at these levels. So that's what I'd watch today, guys. 12,000 to the upside, 11,880 to the downside. The rest, just focus on the levels. All right, ES. Here's what happened yesterday. Here's what's important. This is what's important right now, guys. You can see it as I talk here. 38.50. Rejection, 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 rejection. What is it doing this morning? Right? 38.50 has turned into support this morning. If I go to the 1 minute chart, you are going to see this. Look. Look at what the ES is doing above 38.50. It is holding as support. So, very easy. What has to happen for upside to continue today? It has to hold 38.50. If you lose 38.50, you're coming back down in this range, right? And you're going to start chopping in here again. If you lose 38.50, you're probably going to do something like this, turn it into resistance, and then you're coming back down, right? If you lose 38.50. If we hold this level today, if we're able to maybe bounce off of it, find some more demand here, then I would assume that the trade is probably going to start to build up. If you can hold the demand level. If you can hold the demand level. So watch that, 38.50 on the ES. If you can hold 38.50, you are likely going to see a move towards 3,900 right here. You're going to see a move towards these previous lows, right in this general area, 3890, 3,900. If you break 3850, you do this. If you come down and hold it, maybe you move up. You can move up to 3,900 and reject, or in the most bullish scenario, you would see something like this, right? So that's what I'm watching today. 3850 to the downside, 3,900 to the upside. Need to hold 3850 for the strength to stay in. If you lose 3850 on the ES, momentum will be lost. If you lose 11,880 on the Nasdaq, momentum will be lost. It's as easy as that. There's no other things to think about. You don't need to say, oh, what if this happens? This is a trap and there's, inflation's still too high. No. If you're a trader, you watch the levels and you trade off of them and you stop thinking about everything emotional that you can think of in your head. Next, the Dow. You can see the Dow is holding 30,850, 30,900. You can see the hold that's came in. Now, what's the next level to watch? Right up here, guys. You're either watching these highs here or these lows here, right? Here's your levels to watch. This or this. So watch out for the rejection at 31,200 or 31,300. All up in here should be pretty tough. So watch for that. But if you want to stay short-term, if you want to see short-term upside, you cannot break this level. You can't break this demand level that has built for the last 2 days. Look at what it did yesterday, right? Look at what the Dow did yesterday. See how it held this? See how it moved off of it? It's very easy, right? If you lose it, if you turn it into resistance, momentum is gone. So you cannot lose this level. So that's 30,900, 30,850, all in that general area. Okay, here we go. Russell. Just sort of chilling. Russell's stuck under this. See, like the Russell didn't get through, right? You guys see, we went to the Nasdaq, right? We go to the Nasdaq. You see how it got through, right? You go to the ES. You see how it got through. So now we look at the Russell. It did not get through, right? The Russell should be trading up here right now if it got to be equal to the Nasdaq and ES. So Russell's still stuck under 1750, 1740. I would be careful of this rejection point, right? Watch out for that. All right, guys, that's the futures. I hope that helps. I hope you start to understand the importance of watching these levels. They really do structure your day. I mean, they structure my day. That's the number one thing in my trading is watching what the Nasdaq and ES are doing. Structuring my days, structuring my trades around what the Nasdaq is doing. For example, right, intraday, I'll be in the chat with the voice, with the community. I'll be looking at Tesla to the downside. It's looking pretty strong, right? The ES is sitting at demand. Do I want to trade puts on Tesla into an ES demand zone? Do I want to take a downside play as the overall market is about to come into a demand zone where it has held before? No. But if you're not watching the ES, if you're not watching the Nasdaq, you don't know that it's sitting in a demand zone, you're going to lose money because Tesla is going to react off that. So I hope everyone understands the importance of watching these levels. All right, let's continue. Tesla. Yesterday we talked about a bull flag here, and it actually worked out pretty nicely. It took a little bit longer to sort of work out. It was sort of messy as well, but it did slightly work. It's right around this general area. You can see we have a little bit of a bull flag into demand, which was previous support or previous resistance, right? Rejection, rejection, rejection. You can see we sort of held this demand. It was pretty sloppy. It was not perfect. You can see it was pretty much a zone of like, yeah, it was pretty damn sloppy. I mean, it was a zone of like 10 points. You can see all in here, right? Previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, turned it into support. Wasn't perfect. That's a tough trade to take when it's not very clean. Yeah, so you can see it did end up holding, which is a positive, but it was pretty messy in that area. You a little bit of a flag breakout here, and you are now moving up into the next level. 700 to 706 is a little bit difficult, and I'll show you why. So if I go to the hourly chart, I'll explain to you why I think this level could be a little bit difficult. First, previous highs right here, guys. Right back here, previous highs. The high of this candle, 706.50. So 706.50 is the previous high of this candle. We had a gap down here, right? So that's the high of that gap down. You have a little bit of action in this general area, right? You have a previous support hold, right? This thing will let me do it. Support hold right there. You have a little rejection point right here. So you have a few levels to watch out for at this 706.50 area. So watch out for that this morning, 706.50 right there. That's the top that I would watch out for on Tesla. If you can get above that, I really do believe that this could move. Why do I say that? Because look at these two moves. Look at this. And look at this. Pretty just straight up moves to the upside and downside. So not much rejection, I believe, above this 706.50 until you start to get into that 730 area, these previous highs and lows. So definitely watching Tesla. If we get above this 706.50, I'm looking at some free air here. When I think of this, I think of free air, right? You look at sort of like a vacuum. If you start to enter the vacuum zone here, I would assume that you start to get some nice price action. So looking for 706.50 to break on Tesla. If not, this could very well be a rejection, guys, right? If the market loses it today, this could be a very clean double top rejection. It goes both ways. Whenever I look at levels with you guys, don't think that I have a bias to either direction. Make sure you understand that these levels go both ways, right? This could easily turn into a double top rejection if the market is weak. And you could trade this right back down to 690, right? So make sure to look at it both ways. NVIDIA. So a little bit of strength on the chip stocks the last few days. Looks like a little bit of a sympathy bounce. We noted on it yesterday. It looks like it's continuing. NVIDIA should probably see 155. That would be my assumption. I think you see 155 on NVIDIA. This is a previous double bottom support, very big support zone into rejections. And I'm assuming that you're going to see it test. I'm assuming you're going to see it test that 155. So I would watch for 155. I would watch to see if NVIDIA can push into that. I would be very surprised to see it get through that level with strength, because that is a pretty monster level there, right? You can see double bottom, rejection. That's going to be a big level to get through. If it does, it could really, that's pretty bullish if it can get back above, right? If NVIDIA can get back above 155, that is a good sign for that stock. So watch 155 today, guys. Look to see what it does as it approaches this zone. That's going to be interesting to me. Is it a rejection play, or do we get through? I think that's going to depend on the Nasdaq. I'll quickly go over AMD as well. NVIDIA just held the low because I think the overall chip names just sort of got a sympathy bounce. Let's see. Did 140 sort of come into anywhere? I don't think 140 was really much of a level. I think it just was sort of a sympathy bounce on the overall chips. Let's see. Let me get some more time here. Maybe we can go back and see if we see anything there. 140. Yeah, I mean, maybe you could call it these previous highs, right in this general area. 140, 140, 140. You could probably say that it's holding these previous highs. And also just a pretty extended downside move on the chip names, which is probably just sort of giving a little bit of a sympathy bounce. I wouldn't say it's much of anything, guys. Look at AMD. This is still a very clear downtrend, right? There's nothing changing on AMD here. This is just like this. Look at this, right? This looks just like this. So, yeah, sure, it's moving up, but you think it's going to be like, okay, this is the bottom? You can't guess that. Look, it's the same exact thing. There's no difference here between these two bounces. As of now. So, do you really think of it much more than this? I would say probably not. So, AMD got above 75.50. That's a positive for AMD, right? You can see that was a previous rejection point, and it got above. Right here, right? You have a breakdown rejection. Next level to watch, 78. Clear rejection point, we have to watch 78. After that, you're watching these lows, 80.50, $80.50. So for me, I need to see AMD get at least above 78 before going long. Maybe a little retest into 80. That would be something I'm interested in if we can get towards that 78, if we can break over it. So watching that, need to hold 75 to the downside. Watch out for 78 to the upside. TSM's on the move. Yeah, TSM's getting some sympathy off of Samsung. So let's see, what's it doing? Yeah, I got a nice move this morning. If we go to the daily chart, you can see it's holding that 76 level that we talked about. I don't know if you guys remember that 76 level. It looks like it is back above that level. So if we can hold that 76 level, then that would be, a positive for TSM. So watch out for that 76. That's that big level that we talked about previously. It got a little bit below it. Looks like it held 73, sort of that 73.70 area. Back above 76. I mean, this is not a chart that I would trade personally, guys, right? I'm not going to trade this chart to the upside. You might be able to get a little bit of a squeeze here today, but I'm not really interested in trading upside in a stock that looks like this. The odds are just heavily against you. I don't want to be put against odds. All right. Am I out of TSM trade? No. I put $100 in that trade, and I said clearly that I'm going to stay in it until it goes to zero. So no, I am not. There's no reason to sell when I'm down 100. I'm down the full amount. So I stay in it until it expires, down $100. Yeah, TSM, nice little upside. See what happens today. See if that continuation on the chip stocks helps it out. All right. Let's go Costco. So Costco, let's see, you guys can see what it did yesterday. This is what got me interested. Here it is. So you know that I've been watching the 490 level. I hope you do, because I talk about it every day. You guys can see 490, 490. What did it do yesterday? This is what I love to see. This is what gets me interested in swing trades, or even trades in general. You can see rejection, rejection, turning into support. Costco was able to break the 490 yesterday, turn it into support. That is a bullish technical factor, right? That is bullish to me. Now, what do we have to watch now? What we have to watch is the next rejection point at 500. So we were able to break 490, which is a previous rejection point, multiple times. We were able to turn it into support. Not only did it break the rejection point, it turned it into support, right? So that's positive. Now, the next level I'm watching is right here at 500, right? This is my next level to watch, up into 500. I think if you break 500, you definitely have some upside. 510, 525, 540, right? You have some upside if you break that 500. That's a psychological level, and Costco is on a nice little move here, right? So pretty nice. Let's see if we can hold 490 today. If you can, then I would say this has some continuation, right? Yes, yesterday, Vince, I actually took a trade on it, and the reason I took a trade is because after FOMC, it held 490. I didn't want to take a trade before FOMC. I waited for FOMC to be released, and I waited to see what Costco wanted to do after it. And on FOMC, it held 490, very strong right here. I'll show you after 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock is right here. And what you guys can see is it held that 490 very nicely at 2 o'clock. After seeing that, after seeing it start to bounce off 490 with the market, I went ahead and took it. So I waited to get the economic news out of the way, and I waited to make sure that it was going to hold 490, right? And that's sort of why I wanted to get in. Okay, Google. Yeah, I think Google's got some juice, guys, and it's continuing here. Google's got some free air above, and I definitely... this is definitely looking pretty decent. It's been an outperformer the last 2 days. We'll see what happens today. It's still in a choppy zone, but it definitely is getting freed up a little bit, in my opinion. So you guys can see here on Google, you're sort of, you really don't have much up here until I would say 2400, in my opinion. I don't think this is going to just slow down at some random pop. I think you're probably going to maybe see it test the top of this channel again. Maybe that's where it rejects at 2400. But I like this continuation on Google, and if the Nasdaq continues to be strong, then Google should be an outperformer. So I'm watching Google again today. It's been strong for the last 2 days. Look at these last 2 days, guys. These are the last 2 days. This is Tuesday. This is yesterday. This is very strong last 2 days, right? So upside, huge upside on Tuesday, and then very nice hold on, and a very nice hold on yesterday. So nice strength. I would look to see if this can continue again. Up towards 2,400. That's definitely something I will be watching today. The split happens on 7/15. So in about, what is that, 8 days? You got the split on Google in about 8 days. So let's see, can Google push towards that 2,400 level, the top of this channel? In my opinion, guys, I think it will. Here's why. Because the last 2 times it bounced off this demand, it went to supply. It bounced off demand, it went to supply. So if I'm looking at this again, I think it's going to go to supply again. I'm just looking at, what's happened previously. That's something I'll be watching. So 2,400 on Google is definitely a target for me right now. Jobless claims, let's see. Do we get any reaction off of it? I'm going to assume that we don't, but we'll see what happens. Let's pull it up. Here's the Nasdaq. Let me look at let's get Walter pulled up. Jobless claims plus 4,000 to 235. That's the first plus in a while, isn't it? That's the first plus jobless claims in a while. Trade deficit, 85.55 billion, a little bit higher than the consensus. Exports, 2.55 plus 1.2%. Imports, so exports, imports up. Trade balance. So the trade balance revised to deficit. Okay, the deficit went down on the trade balance. Interesting. Yeah, I don't really expect us to move much off this. Jobless claims really hasn't moved the market much in the past, guys. So we'll see if there's anything based off that. But right now, basically flat. Not much reaction. I wouldn't really expect much. Jobless claims have proven to us that the market just doesn't react to it. That's what happened in the past, and looks like it's happening again. Yeah, the trade deficit is pretty pathetic. So let's see. Nasdaq, maybe a little bit of move here, but nothing that's. Dow's dropping below 30K today. All right, good. Thanks for your crystal ball. You're not going to go anywhere thinking you know where the market's going to go, guys. I'm just going to be brutally honest. Just being brutally honest. You can hate me for it, or you can love me for it. But if you speak the words into existence like you know what's going to happen, you are going to lose money. Google, 2,400. We went over that. Apple. All right, Apple. So what did Apple do? Apple, let's go hourly chart. All right, here's Apple, hourly chart. So 142. That was a big level yesterday, right? Why was 142 important? I need no more time here. I need a little bit more time here. Here's why. 142 was a big rejection point. Big. All right here. Big rejection point on Apple at 142, right? Now, we came into it here. We held it here. We broke down 142. 142 acting as an important level. If we go to the 5-minute chart, I want to show you something. Apple yesterday got above 142, got below it, was a little bit sloppy here, but was able to regain 142, and then look what it did off FOMC. Right? Look what it did off FOMC. Look at this 142 pullback on FOMC. Pullback, 142, bounce off of it. We're holding 142 now. We are above 142. That means that Apple needs to hold this level as support if you want to see more upside. You have to see 142 hold if you want to see more upside. You lose 142, momentum's lost. You go here, momentum's lost. You lose 142, you're moving back to 138, right? You can't lose 142. You just got to watch Matt in the beginning of the live stream. I go over it every single day. 144, you guys can see right here. that would be your next rejection point. That would be your next rejection point right here. So you have consolidation, previous support, yesterday's rejection. I would watch out for 144 to the upside. If you can get over 144, that would be very bullish for both Apple and likely the market, if you can get over 144 on Apple. So watch 144 and then watch 142 to the downside. Amazon. Amazon is at a very important level here today. Big rejection point. Does it get through or does it reject? That's the big question, right? You guys can see, I don't need to sort of explain this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Boom. Boom. A little bit higher, just sort of a fake out, and boom. So 115.50, 116 here, guys. Where is it want to go? That's the important thing. This is right when I tell you I look at these levels, it's not bullish or bearish. It's a matter of what you think happens. It's a matter of watching the market and reacting to it. As long as we know this is an important level, then we can make an educated trade. If we see a rejection, then we can probably trade to the downside. If the market gets weak, if we start to see ugliness on the market again, and Amazon can't break 115, 116, then you're going to get a beautiful rejection here. If the market's strong today, if we're starting to break out, Amazon breaks 115, 116, you're going to get a break and retest, and you're going to get upside, right? That's the crucial level here. 115.50, 116, previous rejection points. If you're able to get above it, I would watch for upside. I would just sort of monitor these previous wick highs, and then really after that, you're just looking at these lows, 120, 121. So definitely an important day for Amazon. Definitely a, sort of a momentum sort of judging day on Amazon. Do you get through this or do you reject? Right? Do you get through this or do you start to lose momentum and reject at this level? It would make sense. It's a previous rejection point, and a previous rejection point, potentially. Or the market has other ideas, market moves higher, we break through, right? It's not a matter of what I think happens. It's a matter of understanding where the levels are and understanding how things could move at major levels. Okay? Home on the range, yeah. 70 on XLE. 70, 71. XLE has been very weak. We talked about it, the break and retest yesterday, and it worked out beautifully. Congrats if anyone caught that. I know we talked about this yesterday morning. Push into 70, rejection, and look at that open. So congrats if anyone caught this break and retest. Looks like we're sort of sympathy bouncing back to the upside. You can't get bullish here unless you break back over this 70.6 or 71 level here on XLE. So you got to get back over this level. We need to see this back above, turn it into support, and then maybe start to curl back to the upside, right? But you got to get it back above that 70, 60, 71. You got to get back above these previous lows on XLE. The S&P drastically needs the XLE to be somewhat strong because the XLE is bringing down the ES. The ES needs the XLE to have a little bit of strength because it's really it's making the S&P struggle quite a bit. So need to see some strength here on the XLE for the ES to not be sort of weighted down. That is what I would be watching today. It could obviously reject again. So yeah, definitely dollar influenced, and also, I personally don't mind to see energy slow down. I don't mind seeing oil prices come down. I think that's actually bullish for the market. If we need to see these oil prices come down. So /CL's, actually look at that. /CL might just bounce right off this level again. Look at where CL's at. That's interesting. I didn't even realize that till right now. Yeah, CL's sitting right at support. CL's sitting right at demand. Right there at 95. That's an interesting watch. All right, XLV and UNH, healthcare. So healthcare, it is choppy. I'm not going to lie. It's a pretty choppy chart right now. But it is holding very nicely, right? You guys remember in this live stream where I say you need to get back above a level and start to hold it again? This is what the XLV is doing, right? The XLV got above this level and is now turning it into support again, right? You can see how it is sort of regained that level. It has reestablished itself above that support level. So like for the XLE, right? You can see this XLE. What I'm saying you need to see happen on the XLE is you need to reestablish this support level, and you need to turn it back into support, right? You need to reestablish that support. XLV has done that. So that's a positive in my opinion. XLV has reestablished its support and is starting to find some strength. And what you guys can see is a stock like UNH. I actually sort of like this today. UNH, oh damn, the ask is over this level. Yeah, UNH is holding a rejection into support here. And that I think is quite bullish. So if you guys look at the last few days, let me get a little bit more time here. If you guys look at the last few days, we are turning this 500 area into support. This 500 area is a previous triple top. 1, 2, 3, right? I guess you can't really consider that a top, but that was a rejection. So rejection, oh, it's here too. Look at this, rejection. Oh, look at all these rejections. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and look at what it's doing now. It's turning that into support. So that's bullish. No questions about it. That is a bullish technical factor. So if UNH can push through this high, I think it will continue. Right? The fact that it just turned a top that it's been stuck under for about a year now, right? Almost a year. A little bit less. But you get the point, right? You get the point. That's big. That's big to see. So UNH, I would watch that above 520, 518. All right. If you guys could just take 1 second out of your day, if just 1 second, all you have to do, just scroll the little mouse down, press the like button, right? Just scroll down, press the like button. That would be much appreciated if you could do that for me. Help get the word out of the live streams if you enjoy them. Help support the live stream. Press the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's go to the live stream tickers. Let's go over some stocks that you guys want to look at, and then we're out of here. We are out of here. All right. HRB. H&R Block, huh? Damn. What the hell's that thing been doing? Not sure why it went up, personally. So I'm going to probably miss out on some kind of... What? Okay. I don't know why H&R Block is going up. Anyone want to explain to me why? Oh, okay. 2022 guidance. Okay, that's earnings. Wow, what a move off earnings. Interesting. Okay, so H&R Block move off earnings back in May. What a move. And it's actually held up, too. Let's see. So I would just watch... Is this all-time high? 37.50? Let me see. Let me get full-time. I've never looked at this stock, ever. Yeah, I mean, H&R Block, just watch all-time highs. That's it. You know, I would look for a break and hold above all-time highs to go long. But, yeah, I mean, just watch out. That could be a rejection point. That's a pretty quick move for H&R Block, right? You can see what H&R Block's done in the past. It sort of pushes higher, then sort of slows down, pushes higher, slows down. This could be your push higher and sort of a slowdown, right? So, I don't know. I wouldn't trust H&R Block after this type of pop. Just watch out for all-time highs. If it gets through it, then maybe play some continuation. But, yeah. I'm not sure how H&R Block trades, personally. Merck broke pre-market, 92. Yeah, breaking down. What did we talk about on Merck? Yeah, it rejected that high, like we talked about. This needs to break below these lows. 90. You need to see a break of 90. CVX. Yeah, CVX is holding the 140 level really well. 140 level, guys, look at this. If the XLE can start to find some kind of sympathy, 140 could be a good area to see if CVX can hold. I would wait for some green days. I would wait for some continuation. This could be a nice area for CVX to hold, right at 140. Look, previous rejections, breakthrough. Watch for 140 to hold on CVX. Uh, I'm going to assume this is an energy stock as well. You need to regain 42, 43 if you want to see upside. Or you're going to see a rejection here, right? Two options. You don't chase this. You wait for a retest. Wait for a bounce. Wait for a retest to the upside. Wait for either a rejection of previous lows or a breakthrough, right? I wouldn't just chase the downside here. Make sure to watch the XLE. Walmart. Yeah, I like Walmart here, guys. I would be a share buyer of Walmart. I would be interested in Walmart down here. This is a pretty nice hold on Walmart, guys, at 120. It's looking like a pretty decent level. XLP is also finding a little bit of continuation. I don't mind this Walmart hold at 120. We've been looking at this for a long time now. I wouldn't expect it to like 10x for you or even 2x. I wouldn't even expect it to go up that much. But, if you're looking at long-term shares, maybe you get some near to 120. If you want to maybe take a long-term swing and just let this thing ride, I think 120 is a pretty solid level here for the time being. If the XLP can hold, and Walmart is going to be a little bit of a safety name for you in this market, I like trying to take advantage of this big move to the downside on Walmart. I'm not doing it right now. I just really don't have the interest because I don't think the return on my money is worth it. I have shares of Walmart. That's really all I care about. I'll just maybe buy some shares and continue to do that. Options, really not interested. But with shares, I sort of like this hold here. So, yeah, that's a pretty nice little level for Walmart. Just watch the XLP. Amazon, we went over. Google, we went over. Snow. Yes, Snow's an interesting one, man. Snow's been pretty clean lately. Has had some pretty nice moves. I've been enjoying watching Snow, actually, surprisingly. So you guys can see, right? We talked about the break and retest. That's the first thing. That's the most important. We talked about the break and retest. Everyone should know what that is. We talked about the previous double top rejection, and we talked about how we were getting through it yesterday. Now, what did Snow do? This is what, if you're looking out there for a trading system, if you're looking at how to do technical analysis, I promise you this is what you should be looking at. 4-hour chart. Just bear with me here. Look. Rejection. Rejection. 152, 153. Rejection. 152, 85, 153. Rejection. Right in this 152, 153 level. Now, if I go to the 5-minute chart, where did Snow hold up yesterday? I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Support, support, support. So, if Snow is above this level, it is bullish. If Snow breaks below it, it's back to bearish. So, I would look to see if Snow can hold 153, then I think you can maybe try to see your move back to 160. Why did this rejection come in 160? Well, I'll tell you that in just a second. I will show you why it rejected at 160. Right here. Boom, 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 right? Look at these rejections at 160. So, here's what if you prepared with me yesterday in the live stream, or if you look at the same things I do, you would say to yourself, okay, yesterday Snow was above a previous rejection. I think there could be upside, but I have to watch out for 160. That's a big rejection point. So if I see Snow into 160, maybe I should be taking profits. Maybe I should look for a rejection play. I shouldn't be holding calls into supply. I know supply is there from looking at the chart, and I have to watch out for that. Now, if you look at this, right as you started to break into 160, you had a nasty, nasty rejection. So as long as you prepare yourself with the levels of the stock, you should know what's going on. Now, I can trade on the 1-minute chart now, and I know what these levels are. I can now trade on the 1-minute chart, and I know that if I see Snow into a green zone like this, I'm going to say to myself, I am holding a Snow call into a supply zone, and I need to be careful. I don't need to look back intraday. I already have the levels on my charts, and I know that these stocks are hitting either a supply or demand. If the green level is below, I know for me it's a demand zone. If the green level is above, I know it's a supply zone. So just charting out these levels, trading off them on the 1-minute chart. Datadog. So I'm going to assume that this is a supply zone. Why do I say that? Because I'm gonna assume that it is, because it is above. So here, let me go to the 4-hour chart. Now look. I already know, right? Already know it's a supply. Why do I say that? Look at what it's done in the past. Rejection, 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 rejection. So, does D-Dog get through this level, right? Do we get through and push into 118, or do we reject here? That's what I'd be looking for today, right? Do we reject 110, move to the downside, or do we get through? I would watch that. Zoom, just another rejection at supply. Nothing new. Nothing new to report. Rejection at supply, just like every other time. Wouldn't trade it. Procter & Gamble. Yeah, you're getting a little bit of upside on P&G. It's a nice little reversal. It's sort of in a no man's land, though. I don't really like anything here. It's in no man's land. I need to see it like... I mean, you're getting basically in the middle of... I mean, I don't know which way this goes here. Yeah, that's tough. That's in the middle of nowhere. Costco, we went over. Shopify will be the last one. What did Shopify do yesterday? Shopify rejected perfectly off the supply. Here's why. Here's where it is. Hourly chart. Let me zoom out. Rejection right at previous supply. Right? You bounced here, 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 you consolidated here, you rejected here, all at 35. What did it do yesterday? Perfect rejection off 35, right? So very nice. Shop needs to get over 35 or it's going to stay bearish. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got for you today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you do well. Make sure to focus on your levels. Make sure to trade with the system. Make sure to know where your supply and demands are. Make sure to not trade calls into supply. Make sure not to buy puts into demand. Make sure you understand that the Nasdaq is pushing into demand. So should I really, or pushing down into demand, should I really be buying puts here? Should I really be hoping that it breaks through a big support? Or should I wait for it to break the support, turn it into resistance, prove to me that it is now resistance, and now I can play it to the downside? What would you rather do? A lot of people get antsy. They don't want to wait for confirmation. That is like 95% of the problem that you might be having as a trader. And all it takes is just a little bit of patience and your trades can improve. So most of the time, the difference between like finding success and struggling is like the smallest little things, such as waiting for your confirmation, patience. It's not that you don't know what you're doing, right? My watch list is too long. All right, see you later, Chico. I don't even know why you're here, bud. All right, have a great day, guys. Have a fantastic day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Play safe, protect your money, focus on risk management, and what else? That's it. Peace out, guys.